straight, and the runners are making their way down. And the first one going to post is number 1, Our Bill's Aunt, who's owned by the 25 Club, trained by Alex Hales. The mount of Harriet Tucker wears pink and dark blue quarters, pink sleeves and a dark blue cap. Number 1, Our Bill's Aunt. He's being followed to post then by number 3, Rouge de la Quest, who's owned by Mark Sherwood and Francis Reed, trained by Rebecca Curtis, the mount of Sean Bowen, maroon and white Diablo, white sleeves and a quartered cap for number 3, Rouge de la Quest. And then we have number 4, Jasmiwa, owned by Anne-Marie and Jamie Shepherd, trained by Nigel Twiston-Davis, ridden by Sam Twiston-Davis, maroon white epaulets and armlets for 4, Jasmiwa, and the lineup completed by number 7, Walk in the Woods, carrying the colours of Vale Racing, owned by them, wears dark blue with a yellow chevron. Evan Williams, the trainer, Isabel Williams in the saddle, claiming 3. So they're starting to arrive over in the vicinity of the start. They'll jump 1 flight down the back straight, come back and jump 3 in the straight. Another complete circuit gives them 13 to jump in total for this Rectisol Insulation UK Novices Handicap Hurdle. Let's have a look at the betting. Walk in the Woods is favourite, 2 to 1. It's quite a tight heat though, with Rouge de la Quest at 5 to 2, 11 to 4, Jasmiwa, who's just drifted a smidge from 5 to 2, and Our Bill's Aunt is at 4 to 1. So the runners are at the post then. Race number 3 coming up shortly, and they're at the start with post time in 2 minutes. Won't be too much longer now as we tick around to post time. Starters raise the flag and the 4 runners begin to come forward. Going here without Stellar Stream, the Imposter and Leading Swoop. Slowly walking forward here. And that's it, they're off. They race away over 2 miles, 7.5 furlongs with a short run down towards the first of the 13 flights, with Rouge de la Quest on the inside of Jasmiwa leading them over the first. Those two with not a great deal between them, around 5 lengths clear in the early stages of Our Bill's Aunt in third, and 3 parts away last of the 4 is Walk in the Woods, just on the outside, as they make their way down the back straight then, and down the hill towards the far turn, with the next flight being the first in the home straight, and Jasmiwa in the maroon and white colours moving into the lead for Sam Twiston-Davis, and leading by length and 3/4 to Rouge de la Quest in second, who's in the white and maroon, followed in third now by Walk in the Woods, who's moved up under Isabel Williams on the outside of Our Bill's Aunt and Harriet Tucker, and those two race alongside as they come around to the top of the home straight for this Rectisol Insulation UK Novices Handicap Hurdle, with Jasmiwa, ears pricked, coming down towards the second. She made a winning handicap debut at Foss Lash just before Christmas, before finishing 4th at Hereford last time. And approaching this flight, she's in front by 1.5 lengths. Jasmiwa from Rouge de la Quest in second. Under Sean Bowen, bidding for his second winner of the afternoon. He's already had 2 doubles this week at Southwell and Wetherby. Looking for another today on this Son of Fame and Glory. Walk in the Woods away to the left in the dark blue with the yellow chevron. And then the pink and dark blue of Our Bill's Aunt as they reach the next hurdle. And safely over that was a number 3. And now they move on towards the 4th. This will be the last flight next time round. Jasmine continuing to lead, maintaining the advantage as she jumps it ahead of Rouge de la Quest, who's a bit quicker through the air and moves up to within half a length on the stand side, with a length back to Our Bill's Aunt and Walk in the Woods, last of the 4 runners, as they make their way out over towards the far side of the track. So a little run once again before they leave the ground. And Jasmine takes them into the next turn from Rouge de la Quest, who did win in the point-to-point field in Ireland. But he's 0 from 4 under rules so far. Racing up on the outside of Our Bill's Aunt then, who's in 3rd place, the top weight under Harriet Tucker. Won here at Chepstow on handicap debut. That was 3 starts ago. He's been in the frame twice since then, including after a little break last time. And there's 2.5 lengths now to Walk in the Woods. Isabel Williams, who rode her 50th winner yesterday at Forslas, riding here for her father Evan as Walk in the Woods, whose only previous victory was also here at Chepstow. That was over 2 miles. This is a first try over nearly 3 as they come to the first in the back straight. Jasmine rises in front by a length, was quicker through the air than Rouge de la Quest, who just took the top bar with him. 1.5 lengths to Our Bill's Aunt as they rise at another. And last over, Walk in the Woods, who's been very consistent since that win here in October. Another flight comes quickly. Jasmine from Rouge de la Quest. Our Bill's Aunt wasn't the slickest over that hurdle as they move on through their point of departure and towards the 4th from home, which is the final one on the far side. Was their first. And Jasmine by a length, looking to make just about all of the running from Rouge de la Quest on the outside. Our Bill's Aunt holding her position down on the inner half a length away, and Walk in the Woods still being weighted with, as once again they're on this long run and going towards the far turn at the end of the back straight, with still about 3/4 of a mile to go and 3 hurdles to negotiate in the Recticel Insulation UK Novices Handicap Hurdle. Jasmine with the advantage. 3 parts of a length to Rouge de la Quest, who's been a persistent shadow throughout, right up on her outside. Just 3 parts away to Our Bill's Aunt on the rail, and Walk in the Woods, still last of the 4 runners, but only 2, maybe 2.5 off Jasmine as the quartet make their final turn and back towards the last 3 hurdles. Jasmine from Rouge de la Quest on the left. Our Bill's Aunt now 1.5 lengths away and just being squeezed ever so slightly. Walk in the Woods hasn't launched his effort just yet as Jasmine runs about ever so slightly but jumped it well. Our Bill's Aunt guessed at it and flattened the flight in 3rd, and Jasmine is now moving powerfully down towards 2 out. She's opened up 4 lengths here on Rouge de la Quest and Our Bill's Aunt. Now Walk in the Woods being shaken up, and these 3 are struggling to get on terms with Jasmine, who's coming into the wings of 2 out, and another solid leap. She landed 6 clear. Walk in the Woods made a mistake in 4th position, and so they've got 1 flight left to jump, and Jasmine is still maintaining a lead of 6 or 7 lengths from Rouge de la Quest. Our Bill's Aunt, and then another break of 5 or 6 to Walk in the Woods as they come down to the final hurdle. Jasmine again jumped it really well. She lands with a clear lead. There's a good battle on for 2nd place, but not for 1st, because Jasmine will make every single yard of the running. For Anne-Marie and Jamie Shepherd, Nigel and Sam Twiston Davis, Jasmine wins
These five have just broken away now from the remainder, who are headed by Ivy Park as they take the first one in the straight, where Legume once again jumped fluently. Just stepping at it towards the rear was He's Home Again. Here they come to the middle one in this section. Legume just wrapped the top bar there, but didn't lose much impetus and still leads by 3 to Knockgrahalas. Petite Mike, Daring Sarah, and in between horses battle it out as they go over the flight in front of the stands. Leader was a bit awkward that time. So here they come up past the judge with a complete circuit of the track ahead of them. Finishing next time, Legume is still the one to catch. Now coming through into second once more on the outside, battle it out. Knockgrahalas in third against the rail. Then we have the red jacket of Daring Sarah, who's followed into this turn by Petite Mike, and then a gap of about 5 lengths to find Ivy Park on the outside of Enough of That. He's Home Again. After these, we have Champagne Secret, and then She's So Glorious, and still at the back, Make No Plans, and From Here to Eternity. So they've gone through their starting point, and they're once again on the way across to the back straight. 6 hurdles in all left to jump. Next one they encounter will be flight number 7. It was their first, and Legume is still the leader here to battle it out, who's now within about a length in second place. Then Knockgrahalas on the inside of Daring Sarah, and they've now just put a bit of distance between themselves and Petite Mike, who's coming back to the others as they arrive at the first one down the back. Legume, again a bit awkward there, battling out over in second. And then Knockgrahalas, Daring Sarah, some way clear of the weakening Petite Mike as they approach the middle one down the back. 5 out. Legume better that time, battling out in second. Knockgrahalas running in third, and then 3 lengths back to Daring Sarah as they make the way now to the final one in this line, 4 from home. And again, a good jump from the leader there. Legume is made all to this point. Petite Mike has dropped right out to the tail of the field now, racing there in company with the likes of She's So Glorious and From Here to Eternity. So about to go into the turn at the end of the back straight. They're on the approach now to the final half mile of the contest. 3 flights of hurdles to jump. Good long run before they get to the first one in the straight. Legume has gone on again by about 2.5 lengths to, in second place, battle it out. Then Knockgrahalas is just being urged along by Philip Enright. 5 lengths or so then to He's Home Again, who's made some progress into 4th place. And then after these, we have Enough of That and the weakening Daring Sarah. They corner with 3 flights left to jump. Legume the leader. But here in the centre comes Battle It Out with a menacing looking challenge. Knockgrahalas is in third, and they're some way clear still of He's Home Again. 3 from home and a new leader. It was Battle It Out who took over from Legume, who looks to have no more to offer. Knockgrahalas is trying to raise a challenge now as they come to 2 from home, and it's Battle It Out from Knockgrahalas. There was about a length between them over that one. Very tired now, back in third, Legume, and then He's Home Again. Here they come down to the final flight. Battle It Out from Knockgrahalas, who's got to within about a half a length. Battle It Out now, asked for a bit more by Charlie O'Dwyer. Knockgrahalas sticking to the task, but Battle It Out is proving too strong. And in the McManus colours for the father and son team of Conor and Charlie O'Dwyer, Battle It Out is the winner from Knockgrahalas in second. And they're a long, long way clear of coming through to snatch third on the line. He's Home Again.
They finished pretty tired here in the ground, but Battle It Out has done exactly that. He's had to battle. He was sent off a long odds-on shot, but he travelled well into his race. And Knockgrahalas, she gave it a really good go. She kept him up to his work all the way up the run-in, and the pair of them finished nicely clear. But the odds-on shot, Jane, Conor O'Dwyer's horse, he's got it done in the end.
Yeah, he did, and it mightn't have looked all that pretty, but I think he's value for the winning margin and some. I think Charlie was just going through the motions and didn't want to commit him too soon, and Knockgrahalas probably just kept him company. I thought, you know, coming to the last, he had it well in control, and looking past the line, I'd say he's happy enough. Knockgrahalas has ran with great credit for local connections. They'll be very pleased with that, I'm sure, and they 2 of them have pulled clear of He's Home Again, She's So Glorious, and Legume, who all crossed the line together, but
and hitting the frame, moves into handicap company of a mark of 112. Carries 12 stone 2 under Ben Jones and does have to give away significant weight, but possibly has the edge in class, which is why he's being preferred in the market. Hashtag Boom is his chief opponent for Ruth Jefferson, winner of one of his 4 starts. That wasn't under rules, that was a point. And this horse has been running at Newcastle Wetherby and Catterick, and a similar sort of profile being placed in maiden hurdles, possibly not quite the same depth, which is why he receives, or she receives, the £8 from Hold Up the Colmean, but they have pretty similar sorts of profiles. The other two, Coup de Gold, who has won once from 26 starts, but placed on another 9 occasions. The win came in a maiden hurdle at Catterick in 2019, has been plying his trade behind the likes of Edgar Allan Poe, who runs in our last race here, and Blue Shark at Newcastle prior to that. But has had a lot of goes in handicaps without being successful. And Glascar Moore is the outsider, yet to make the frame in any of his 6 starts. And he moves into handicap company. And a mark of 88, not overly generous on what he's achieved. See how he manages to cope with that, but the market suggests that they feel likewise because he is the outsider at 50 to 1. He was 125 to 1 though, so wouldn't completely be dismissive, given that it wouldn't take a lot to reduce the price like that, but nonetheless, there is some element of support, maybe just feeling that a few of these don't win very often. So runners about to come out. So runners moving towards the racecourse as we count down to the off. We've still got over a minute to go. Hold Up the Colmean in the red and white checks, leads out Coup de Gold in the yellow and brown. Hashtag Boom if you're a supporter of him. So noseband horse you're looking at, the red with the orange sleeves. And Glascar Moore is the last of the 4 to come out onto the racecourse. So we gather together by the starting staff, and then once we reach 250, which is around about half a minute or so away, then they will be beckoned forward for race number 3 this afternoon. Runners being sent a fair way back off the starting tapes. 10 to 11, Hold Up the Colmean. 15 to 8, Hashtag Boom. Both the outsiders attracting support to varying degrees. Coup de Gold 9 to 2 now, and Glascar Moore 50 to 1. So a little bit of opposition against the front of the market here, as the 4 runners prepare to move forward. Glascar Moore just a little bit on edge. So flag is raised here. Start away to the right-hand side. And they're off. Racing for the handicap hurdle, sponsored by Vickers Bet. Hold Up the Colmean towards the flight of hurdles on the side of the racecourse, which they'll take as the first. Leads up by a length from Coup de Gold. Glascar Moore is keen on the outside, and Hashtag Boom on the inner as they take flight number 1. Hold Up the Colmean jumped it okay, but just shifted slightly to the right. Slightly awkward landing by Coup de Gold, but they both continue on safely, turning into the back straight for the first time. So Hold Up the Colmean leads by a length or so from Coup de Gold as they race on towards the second. Hashtag Boom takes it in 3rd place, just ahead of Glascar Moore, who's last of the quartet. So racing down the back straight at just an even pace. Hold Up the Colmean leading under Ben Jones by 2 lengths from Coup de Gold in 2nd. 3rd place belongs to Hashtag Boom in the orange sleeves, and Glascar Moore towards the outside of the field in the 2-tone blue as they reach the next flight. And again, they all take that well. So now they have a long run before they reach flight number 4. Hold Up the Colmean has the lead, not so far clear as he was, as Coup de Gold has moved closer on the outside. And not much of a margin now to Hashtag Boom and Glascar Moore either, as the 4 runners just bunch up as these comparatively early stages just being run at an even pace. Red and white checks of Hold Up the Colmean will turn at the far end as the lead by a length from Coup de Gold in 2nd. 3rd place for Hashtag Boom, and Glascar Moore well in touch as they now make the journey downhill, left-handed, towards flight number 4. Hold Up the Colmean continuing to lead, but only by half a length or so from Coup de Gold as they fan out on the approach towards the first in the home straight. Front 2 take it well. Fast leap by Hashtag Boom carries her a little bit closer, and Glascar Moore is still well in touch, the one that's travelling a little wider on the course, last of the forerunners who remain well bunched as they head downhill. Hold Up the Colmine has made every yard to this point. Coup de Gold has sat in second, and that still remains the order. Third place for Hashtag Boom and Glascar Moore as they reach flight number 5. And again, they'll take that well enough. So Hold Up the Colmine leading, but only by a neck or so now, as Coup de Gold just applies a little bit more pressure. Third place for Hashtag Boom, who's 2 lengths away, and Glascar Moore still in touch despite being the back marker of the 4, as they've reached the halfway stage then of this jointhevickers.bet free bet club handicap hurdle. And Hold Up the Colmine goes through the point of departure with Coup de Gold in second, Hashtag Boom and Glascar Moore as they race on towards flight number 6. Hold Up the Colmine will arrive at it in the lead. Slight mistake by Hashtag Boom, but hasn't lost too much ground, just rather clattered through it. And still on the outside, Coup de Gold just sitting closer than a circuit ago to Hold Up the Colmine. He's just stretching on again by a length. Coup de Gold in second. Here comes Hashtag Boom as they're already approaching the next flood of hurdles. Good leap by the leader, extends the advantage. Hold Up the Colmine leads by nearly 2 lengths now from Coup de Gold. Moving closer is Hashtag Boom. Pace appears to be lifting, and Glascar Moore is struggling as a consequence. He's 4 lengths away last of the 4 and losing ground pretty rapidly now, as the other 3, still well bunched, head towards the 3rd last. Hold Up the Colmine over in the lead, but didn't get very high. Leads from Coup de Gold. Hashtag Boom also knocked the flailing hurdle in 3rd place, and Glascar Moore has readily been outpaced and is now 20 lengths away. So Hold Up the Colmine exits the back straight. Hashtag Boom moving alongside Coup de Gold in 2nd and 3rd. They remain about 2 lengths behind the leader, who climbs the hill, leaving the back straight. Glascar Moore is really labouring, has quickly been left behind. Hold Up the Colmine leads. 2nd place now belongs to Hashtag Boom. Coup de Gold now just struggling to keep tabs on the leading pair, who are now making the descent towards the home straight. Hold Up the Colmine has the advantage, and that lead is still 3 lengths. Hashtag Boom in 2nd place. Just stumbled slightly there on the approach towards that flight of hurdles. Coup de Gold over in 3rd. As they now make their way, long journey down towards the last. Hold Up the Colmine on the right-hand side. Hashtag Boom on the left, trying to get on terms, but at the moment unable to do so. Still a long run down towards the final flight, however. Back in 3rd is Coup de Gold. And Glascar Moore, I think, was pulled up before that flight of hurdles. So, I Hold Up the Colmine with Hashtag Boom still there, nibbling away, getting slightly closer on the run towards the last. So, Hold Up the Colmine. Hashtag Boom will be about half a length down, very little in it over the last. Hashtag Boom throwing down the challenge to Hold Up the Colmine, who still has a narrow lead. Hold Up the Colmine by about half a length. Hashtag Boom will not go away, is still buzzing in pursuit of the leader. Hold Up the Colmine still all out. Hashtag Boom one final lunge. Probably Hold Up the Colmine held on, but it was close at the line as Hashtag Boom proved a persistent challenger. Coup de Gold back in 3rd. Judge required.
Getting a where all the way from start to finish, it looked as though he was the only one that was going to win.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he's clung on. I can't believe that too many people would have been surprised when he bounced at Cheltenham at the end of January in that much better race that's been boosted.
Well, again, there's some context as well. You forgive that is the Time for sponsored race on Trials Day. It has been a rich source of festival winners. You think, I remember the Giant Bolster winning it one year, who ended up being a Gold Cup horse. Ordinarily, it's been in what was the novice handicap that is much missed by anyone I talk to. Anyway, I don't know anybody.
See that I don't get that. That race still exists. It's not at Cheltenham.
There's only about six horses.
Exactly. You run it
it
at another Grade 1 track at Sandhurst. No one wants to run in it. It's just silly.
So
it's still a race people can target if they want to.
Doesn't begin with CHELT, does it?
Anyway, crack on.
So it was an interesting race to read, and I think to this day, I'm not entirely sure how much was there, but he did get eased quite markedly on the running on that reappearance. I'm sure Charlie, to some extent, was thinking, well, he's missed 800 plus days. I don't want to absolutely bottom him. So he definitely geared down to some extent, but I didn't think there was loads left at the end. But this is a significant drop in grade from going off 9 to 2 for one of the hottest novice handicaps of the entire season. And you would be cheered, A, by the fact he's had a little break since that, a couple of months, and that Venetian had only one winner in March prior to yesterday, doubled that tally. Maybe that's going to just prove to be a short-term loss of form.
If Zestful Hope takes to chasing, then he's a player.
Yeah, I think there is hope that he will as well, because he's not outmatched physically. He's got the right sort of attitude. He's a keen-going, prominent racer. And yes, it's not Hereford. That's the concern. His 3 visits there, he hasn't been beaten once. There is a slight hike in grade. He's going from sort of a 0 to 105 handicap to a 0 to 120. And the negative, I suppose, of the chasing debutant, and the same, of course, goes for Charles Ritz, who is the best-looking horse in the field, probably the best-looking horse we'll see all day.
See, he is a good-looking horse. I'd throw Jazz King at you as well. I think he's a gorgeous specimen. Yeah, it would. His
Take a lot of effort on your part.
500 plus kilograms of Jazz King. All like,
I expect to see you and James Richardson at Christmas time on The World's Strongest Man if you're able to do that. Definitely good-looking horse as well. Both look chasers, but when you've got a horse like Carton who's got one way of going, and his demeanour in the paddock belies what he tends to do when he's underway. It's the first time Gavin Sheehan's ridden him. I don't think they have any choice. They just got to let him go and hope he can conserve enough energy for the straight, or to some extent force mistakes out of the others, and that's what we'll be looking to do with the chasing debutants.
As ever, we are like clockwork at Ludlow. Prompt start. Here's Stewart for race 2.
Yeah, they've been doing well to get away on time here. 5 of them coming in for this Mark Wiggin Estate Agents Novices Handicap Chase. First 4 fences come up quickly down the back, and they're off. 5 runners dispatched with Carton. The bright green sleeves giving a lead to the first, a Fire Dancer in a pink jacket, Zestful Hope, blue sleeves and cap for Lily Pinch, and then the grey Jazz King and Charles Ritz at the back of the field, and Carton winged the first and is already stretching his lead to 3 or 4 lengths on sharply to the second. Carton to put himself right there, but he was quite agile, leading Fire Dancer and Zestful Hope. Jazz King out wide, and then Charles Ritz. Here's an open ditch. And all 5 pretty assured, with about 8 lengths covering them towards the final fence in the back straight for the first time, led by the hat-trick chasing Carton under Gavin Sheehan, among the winners at the festival last week, and hopping over a couple of lengths clear there to Fire Dancer and Charlie Deutsch in the Susanna Ritchie Silks, the pink and green spot. Zestful Hope, Lily Pinch in a close third into the bend. Jazz King and Tom Cannon racing in 4th, and Charles Ritch with Johnny Burke already chasing a double on this afternoon's card, just last of the quintet. Charles Ritz in the Colvin Hughes Silks, the grey colours, as Carton leads them inside the last 2 miles, ahead of Fire Dancer. And then Zestful Hope, Jazz King and Charles Ritz. Turning on in, a line of 5 fences up the straight on this circuit, only 4 on the next. Carton over the 5th, ahead of Fire Dancer.
Zestful Hope, second from the right and further right to Jazz King. Another open ditch. Charles Ritz just last on landing. On now to fence 7. Steadily approaching the halfway point. Carton has been leading them along at a fairly brisk early exchange. About 27 miles an hour or so going into the wings of the 8th. Fire Dancer jumping assuredly in second, more assured than Zestful Hope, who was brushing through the top. Grey Jazz King waited with, and Charles Ritz given a very patient ride. Here's the water. And there Jazz King slightly bunny hopped it, seemed to catch him a little by surprise, as Carton leads them with 1 circuit to cover. Further 8 to negotiate. In the Mark Wigan Estate Agents Novices Handicap Chase. Carton, Gavin Sheehan aboard for Donald McCain and the colours of owners Dave and Matt Slater. Leading Zestful Hope, the blue cap, the Morgan colours, just shading second now to Fire Dancer, Charlie Deutsch and the pink silks. The grey Jazz King and Di Walters, dark blue and white colours, and Charles Ritz continues to look on. But only half a dozen lengths would cover the field as they head off down the back straight once again. Moving on now to fence 10. Carton has made all so far. Gain jumps very well there, very quick through the air, a bit quicker than the grey Jazz King back in 4th. Zestful Hope and Fire Dancer were pretty good. Charles Ritz briefly needed cajoling along between fences down the back. Carton ahead of Zestful Hope, Fire Dancer. Jazz King, gain Charles Ritz, just has to be briefly nudged along. Another open ditch. Carton to Zestful Hope, Fire Dancer, Pink Jacket a close third. Jazz King, the grey, inching a bit closer. Charles Ritz remains in rear, a couple of lengths detached. Last on the far side. 5 out. Carton taken on by Zestful Hope. Good jump from Jazz King. Fire Dancer now just being asked for a little bit more. Is relegated to 4th. And Charles Ritz is making quite hard work of it at this stage, back in 5th place. And Fire Dancer's having a little more pressure applied now in 4th place. Drops a couple of lengths off the 3rd place grey Jazz King as they head inside the last half mile. 4 fences to jump up the straight. Zestful Hope, blue cap for Lily Pinching. Coming to have a crack at Carton under Gavin Sheehan. Jazz King waiting in the wings, a very close 3rd. Charles Ritz is beginning to respond a little to pressure, staying on to race alongside Fire Dancer. They're still both just about in touch, but the leading 3 quickening up as they head for home, and Zestful Hope in the centre pokes his nose in front. Just ahead of Jazz King on the right challenging. Carton now ridden, then Fire Dancer and Charles Ritz. Here's the open ditch at 3 out. Jazz King came right alongside Zestful Hope. Carton 3 lengths away, 2 more to jump. Jazz King on the right. Zestful Hope fighting on under pressure, back in front, but not so good at the fence there as Jazz King, who goes on narrowly once more. Carton in 3rd, 1 to jump. Still very much up for grabs here between the grey Jazz King and Zestful Hope. Jazz King just beginning to assert now. Jumped well there, took a couple of lengths out of Zestful Hope. Fire Dancer a faller at the last one held. Jazz King now beginning to assert, drawing away close home under Tom Cannon. For Di Walters and Sam Thomas, it's a winning chasing debut for Jazz King. Close second, Carton rallying, got up for second. Zestful Hope fading late on. Charles Ritz in 4th. Fire Dancer's up, so too Charlie Deutsch.
Jazz King has come good today. It's his first victory. They've taken all the headgear off him, and he has won under Tom Cannon for Sam Thomas in the colours of Walters Plant Hire Limited at 13-2. He got the better of a battle with Zestful Hope in the straight. That horse eventually had given best and got chinned by Carton for second. As Stuart said, the horse Fire Dancer, who's currently around where the horse boxes are, hopefully will be caught very soon, looks none the worse, and likewise Charlie Deutsch.
Yeah, fair bit to say for this race generally. I think each of them warrant a mention, and a clear, not just a step back in the right direction, I think an improvement on his hurdling form. What happened to Zestful? Carton's not the sort of horse you should be passing and then getting passed by again, as has happened with Zestful Hope. He is hung quite badly after the last. He made a mistake early on, but apart from that, everything went swimmingly.
The thing is, he was hanging way before the run-in, but he's got Jazz King on his outside, and once Jazz King has gone on, that horse isn't there to keep him in, and he's just continued to hang, but he was looking to lean that way, I thought, for the most part of the home straight.
And he's obviously finished very weakly as well, because I don't think Carton was coming home with much purpose. It feels a race where one horse has seen its race out and nothing else has. Carton didn't race. Gavin Sheehan was on him today, and I'm sure he was mindful of trying to keep this horse relaxed. He's been, in his wins at Musselburgh, he's actually opened quite long leads and sort of broken the race apart and won them that way. Could just be the step up in grade was slightly beyond him. Charles Rich was never in a rhythm, didn't jump well enough. The track was probably on the sharp side for him, and it's clearly not been easy to train as a 7-year-old now. And Fire Dancer just looks like he's got a hole in him. And I think if you go back to the win here, it does give you further confidence that actually there was nothing left that day. It wasn't a case of Charlie Deutsch thinking, right, I'm going to give him as easy a time as possible necessarily.
It can happen. He'd been off the track a very, very long time. He got an easy time in front that day. Hopefully they can get him right again, but it wasn't very promising today. But at least he's up okay after his fall. Right, SP's with Anthony. It's one for Sam Thomas, and Tom Cannon with Jazz King.
Thanks, David. He's clearly a gelding who plenty was expected from him throughout his career so far, but Jazz King is off the mark at the first attempt over fences. Novices handicap chase going to him at 13-2 for Tom Cannon, Sam Thomas and Walters Plant Hire Limited. Second Carton 3-1 with Charles Ritz, the eventual 11-4 favourite, only fourth and outside the front two.
Sometimes they don't like it. It's sort of like a stabilizer riding the bike. It's so helpful. But I was like, if it's there, I'll use it.